Hi, I'm Annika Johnsons from Al Johnson's in Sister Bay. I hope you enjoy my new video series called Door County Girl. These are stories of my life, the people and places that I love, and of course how we all survive here in northern Wisconsin. You can come back as often as you like, but don't forget to subscribe to Al's YouTube channel. I'll be posting lots of really cool new videos. So let's go! To my friend Helene Anderson's house, and sometimes people call her Helena or Helena, depending on what kind of Swedish accent you use. And she owns Flora. It is a little shop that she does a lot of weddings, all the floral arrangements for weddings, and all kinds of other events that people want to hire her for. And I love how she does her designs because it's very, how do I say that, it's not so meticulous. It's all nice and wild and natural looking and beautiful. So I really like how she does her designs. So Helen, tell me a little bit about, because my mom's very traditional, like you are. She doesn't bake as much anymore, but a lot of people bake for her and give her things, which I appreciate because I know where they are in her freezer. Yeah. She's not sharing. So our baker at Al's, he'll bake bulla sometimes, or he'll bake some traditional cardamom coffee cakes and things like that. But how did you bake? Like, how did you learn to bake? Or how did you get your family to love what you do? Or...
Well, when I started to spend time over here and left Sweden, I realized that, if I was going to have these things that I were used to from home, I had to figure out how to make them myself. And honestly, I can't say that I stood at home baking with my mom. Maybe I did, but I can't say I learned directly, but I knew it was how it was supposed to taste. So it was kind of a trial and error. Yeah. And but this recipe, I think, it's something, my mom grew up on a farm in Västergötland, which isn't too far from where your mom's from, Östergötland, Västergötland. Anyway, so this is a traditional kind of roll, how you would do it. And that's how my grandmother and my great-grandmother made it. So it's kind of, it's the tradition of having that. And, like when my kids were in school, I wouldn't make like cupcakes. I'd make rolls instead because I figured it was something.
Enjoying
Swedish
tradition.
It's funny, all their friends, they would know,
oh, we're going to Helen's, we get to have bulla.
Yeah, they're always like, so you got any rolls?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, but I vary the recipe. We were talking about earlier, too, that all sweets, and I think you too love cardamom.
Yes.
That's such a big spice in Sweden. Of course, cinnamon and
cardamom, cinnamon, saffron.
Yeah, these exotic spices, which is so funny that the Swedes really took to those, and
which is interesting too, because you'd think you'd see more of it in the United States, but you really don't always see a cardamom bread or a cardamom coffee cake.
Yeah, no.
Unless you have some kind of Scandinavian background.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like the Norwegians and the Finn and everybody really grabbed onto those spices. Yeah, and that's what I love.
So
love
like with these, it's getting easier to find things, and sometimes I bring things from Sweden too, but like in these rolls, I actually took fresh cardamom seeds and grind them up, so you get that really fresh flavor as opposed to having something that's been sitting on a shelf,
Well, I know that you use cardamom for those, but I know that when it's Santa Lucia, they make a traditional saffron bun. It almost looks like an S or an H.
Lussekatt.
Lussekatt.
Yes.
And they're delicious too, but they're more bread-like.
Yeah.
And they are very yellow looking, and they always have the currants on the top.
Yeah.
And either you like saffron or you don't like
Yeah.
saffron. It's like one of those things. Do I like this or
Yeah.
don't I?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
But I always used to get my mom, I said, why can't you make this more?
Yeah.
And she just wouldn't. She can only have them on Santa Lucia.
It's very traditional based. Like you do certain things certain days, and you better not cheat and do it any
Exactly.
earlier. You know, it's just
It's like
it's
you
on
don't
that
wear white
day.
after Labor Day, really?
Nope,
I can't
nope.
have saffron buns in May? Why
Yeah,
not?
no, you
Why
just
not?
don't. You just don't. Just like you have a special julmust is a drink that's only
Exactly.
available at Christmas time.
Well, and saffron's super, super expensive.
Yeah, but it's funny. You go to a grocery store in Sweden, they have a little box sitting right on the cash register with little saffron envelopes, you know,
Oh, is that
around.
funny?
Yeah, a little tiny thing. I mean, you don't need much either. You
Yeah.
know, they're actually the flower of, is it marigolds?
I don't
Some
know.
type. I'm probably saying the wrong thing, but it's something like that. Like.
I didn't even know that.
It's the part of the I want to say here. I might have to check on that, but I'm pretty sure it's a type of marigold. It's the little piston things. That's what it is.
Well, I know that in the kitchen, I see it up on the shelf.
Yeah.
It's got a little can up
Yeah.
there, but we only have it when it's Santa Lucia.
Yeah. No, it's very traditional. Certain things, certain times, and you don't eat this herring at any other time than Christmas, or you don't do.
Yes.
It's very much like
Well,
that.
I know that
so.
there's, my mom used to make kneck.
Oh my God,
So
that
tell
is so
us
good.
about kneck, because that was my favorite project with my mom.
Yeah.
My mom, when she was cooking, none of us could be in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Because our kitchen was so tiny, and she hated when people were around her. Although we got to help her make kneck because you have to actually roll it in wax paper. So tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about kneck.
You know, we would make it, and a lot of times we would always make candy before Christmas, a couple weeks before. You'd make the candy, and kneck wouldn't you say it's a little bit like caramels?
Yeah,
kind
it's
of?
like, it reminds me of Joe's caramels a little bit.
That you sell at Al's.
Yeah,
the best
we sell
caramels
caramels
ever.
at Al's.
Yeah, they're
and
homemade.
one of our gift shop ladies
Yeah.
makes these unbelievable caramels,
Yeah,
and we call them
best.
JoJo's
Yeah,
caramels.
they're the best.
And she does have a cult following
Yes,
because
yes,
people
yeah.
come in and looking for them all
Yeah,
the time.
yeah.
She hasn't been making them much anymore with
Yeah,
COVID and everything.
yeah.
But anyway,
Her daughter Britt is getting pretty
onto
good
it.
at it
Yeah.
too. So
Well,
yeah,
we talked
she
to
will
Britt about
make
it
me.
because
Yeah.
everybody keeps begging for it.
I
at
know she needs
Al's.
to do that. It's hard, you know. You got to get
Yeah.
it set up and all that. But yeah, they're like that. But they're usually poured in these smaller kind of paper
Yes.
cups, which is hard to
They
wax
look like
paper.
Okay, so like when you make knack, in the beginning when we would make it, my mom would buy these little
They're tiny, red, yellow.
Yeah, they
kind
look
of,
like
yeah.
cupcake
Yeah.
cups.
Yes.
And then you have to pour the knack in there.
Yeah.
And you can either put almonds in your
Yeah.
knack, or you
Yeah.
can just have it plain.
Yeah.
And then you would put them in these little things, and sometimes she would use aluminum ones, little
Yeah.
aluminum ones.
Yeah.
And then sometimes if we wanted them bigger,
Yeah.
we would use wax paper and roll them
And then
up.
do the roll.
Yeah.
But you know why she didn't have you helping so much with that? Because it's like, I don't know how many blisters I would
It's
get from
hot.
hot. That's probably why she
Yes.
just,
Well, I
have little
remember we had
fingers
a
all
skillet.
over that.
You know those plug-in
Oh,
electrical?
yeah.
And then you
Get the
turn up the
perfect-
dial, and it's like a skillet about that tall. And my mom would put it all in there, and you have to stand there and you have to stir it and stir it and stir it until it boils. And then she would be the one to pour them in the cups. I mean, we could help with the wax paper one sometimes.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was really
Yeah.
dangerous to be around it, because
Yeah.
if you got it on you, it was
Yeah,
almost
and
like,
can you imagine like a kid getting too
Yeah.
close? And yeah, so she was probably looking out for you. That's
yep,
probably-
that and peppercocker.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about peppercocker, because that is my favorite cookie on the planet.
But you know, I have to tell you, I like bought peppercocker better than
My mom says the
homemade
same
one.
thing. You know what she told me? The
And-
reason she doesn't bake
Yeah.
peppercocker anymore is because Neocore and Anna's make
It's-
such good ones that she doesn't want to bake anymore. with them.
I will confess, and I hope I don't get in trouble with Anna's brand, but Neocore is the best
Yes.
ginger snap you can have.
And you know what? We have been fortunate enough to go to the Ostof every year.
Yeah.
And there's a week-long, or a 10-day, I think it is, Christmas mart. It's a German Christmas mart.
Yes.
So we always get a little kiosk in there.
Yeah,
for Al Johnson's.
I haven't been to that one, but you did one downtown
In Oconomowoc.
Well, actually in Milwaukee one time
Kohler,
too.
yeah,
yes,
yep.
yeah, that was
But the
cool.
big one for us was always those 10 days in December because we're so slow up here. We needed to find
Perfect
something to
time.
help us out with the winter months.
Yeah.
So we had this little kiosk, and the best selling thing we couldn't keep in stock were Peppercockers.
Yeah.
And all the Germans loved it because they go, oh, it tastes like Pfeffernussen.
Yes,
Pfeffernussen.
yeah.
And I've tried Pfeffernussen, and I think that the Peppercocker, sorry Germans,
Is
are a
the
little
best.
bit sweeter and a little bit thin and
Yeah.
crispy,
Yeah.
and they're just easier to eat. And the Pfeffernussen nuggets are kind of
Yeah.
hard for me to chew. I don't know, but I liked them.
Yeah.
They're just different.
They're like a thicker cookie, almost like a farm
Yeah,
cookie
and
a little
before
bit.
COVID,
Yeah.
we would always, one of us was always running the register, and the other one always had an open tin
Yeah.
of Peppercockers so
Yeah.
everybody could sample them.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't sample them, you wouldn't know what they were.
Yeah.
And every person who sampled one would buy a tin
Oh,
or
for
a
sure.
package.
Plus the tins are so cute
and then
too. For
year after year,
design
these
and-
people all knew we would
Yeah.
be there. And of
Yeah.
course, we're next to the Glug booth,
which is perfect.
which we
yeah.
always fought
Yeah.
for that spot because
Yeah.
we always could just get
Yeah.
our little Glug refill next door. And at the end of the night, we had a Christmas boot.
Yeah.
that we could get a discount.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, we
So-
liked each other. So
But you know how I love my ginger snaps the best is with a little bit of sharp, like aged cheese, like cheddar or something on it. So it's not just for dessert. It's a great
Exactly.
little hors d'oeuvre thing.
you know who said that to me? Kit. Kit puts cream cheese on his.
Oh, that's
sometimes,
good too. Or you can do vanilla ice cream and make your
a
ice
little
cream sandwich. It's
That's
a
what
really
I do at the
good
restaurant
thing.
when I
Yeah,
want a
yeah,
snack.
Yeah.
We have French vanilla ice cream, and I
Perfect.
get those Peppercockers, and I
Yeah.
make a little sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really good.
And oh, speaking about cheese too, try it with blue cheese. Have you ever had it with blue
No,
cheese?
but Kit said it's good too.
Yes.
I just keep looking
Kit
at
and
them
I,
funny.
we just like we
I'm
think
like,
the
how
same.
would you want that?
No, it's got to be a nice little creamier, like anyway, kind of.
Like a new factal or whatever
Yeah.
you call it.
Yeah, creamy blue cheese,
Yeah.
spread a little, oh my gosh.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to try that.
Yes.
Because I
yes.
love blue cheese and I love cheese. I just never thought those two together
No,
would be.
it's like the perfect combination.
Yeah, and the
so-
peppercocker was fun for us. That was the one thing my mom let us help her out with the most because,
Yeah.
of course, people who like to bake, it's always like we all like to bake, but after a while you've got to roll it all out the dough, and you
that's
got to
what-
cut the cookies, and you've got to,
Yeah.
and so eventually, kids lose interest.
Yeah.
Like when we had to make sugar cookies
Yeah.
or do anything
Yeah.
with the cutouts
Yeah,
for a project for school.
yeah.
Their attention span might be a half an hour,
Yeah.
and then you're stuck the next
Yeah.
hour and a half making
Yeah.
the cookies.
Yeah. I'm going to make a confession. I don't make ginger snaps myself. I buy them at Al's.
Well, good. That's a good thing. And you don't have to make ginger snaps, you people out there, either. We've got plenty of them. Trust me.
So-
And you know what's so interesting? Now that I'm the shipper, Kit and I discuss a little bit, like, what do you want to bring into the store? And the other day, we had gotten Neocore, which is the brand that
Yeah.
Helen and I both
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Peppercockers. So every Christmas they have the holiday cutouts, which comes in a package. And so there is a Christmas tree, a man, a lady, and
Yeah,
a
I
pig.
bought those. Yeah.
And it's fun because then kids can decorate them
Yeah.
if they want
Yeah.
to, and you don't have to go through the whole rolling
Sure.
out thing.
You
And
just
the
get a
cut-out,
little hard icing
We
and
just want to
kinda-
eat them, people.
Yeah. No,
So
I know.
the other one, and then they have like a single pack or a heart tin.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what we just got in? We got little tiny cardamom, which you and I love.
I've had
Scorpa.
them. I've had them. They're in a can, kind
Yeah.
of.
So tell
They
us a
are
little bit what Scorpa
delicious.
is.
Well, I wouldn't. Would you call those Scorpa?
Well, they're called Scorpas, but I want you to tell us what really
if
Scorpa
it's the
is.
ones I had, they're kind of thicker, kind of a creamy cookie, kind of.
But do
That's
you
what I
remember
had.
when we used to work at Al's and my
Oh.
dad was there?
Yeah.
And above the pancake
Yeah,
grill, there was
always.
that big metal bowl
Yeah.
that only my dad, that was for my dad.
Yeah.
And in the bowl was Scorpa.
Mm-hmm.
And they looked like dinner rolls cut in half.
Mm-hmm.
and they were cardamom flavored, and they were dry, like dry croutons.
But see,
he would always grab those scorpas out of there and dunk them in his coffee, and he'd eat them all day long. And we got them from a baker somewhere. I think it was Nelson's Bakery back then in Chicago. And that was his Scorpa tin. Like we were not allowed.
Yeah, no.
And then we couldn't get those anymore. And then they were long. Then all of a sudden we got these long ones that were kind of cinnamony, cardamom-y.
Yeah.
So what they do is they take old coffee cake and they cut it real thin.
Or actually, like when my grandmother or my mom would make rolls, they'd always take half the loaf and they make kind of a braid.
Yes.
And then, so it's, instead of having individual rolls, it would be a long braid, and you'd eat that fresh too. But when if you had some left, you would put the oven on very low, and then you slow dry it in there.
And I love that.
See, I gotta make some Scorpa one of these days here.
You know what you could do? We can't get Scorpa anymore, and we had this brand we called Jacobsen Toast.
Oh, which is that kind of Norwegian or? No?
It was a family-owned business, Jacobsen Toast, and it was mostly just cinnamon sugar.
Yeah.
And we always had them for sale at the restaurant. We always had them on the bread trays, and whenever there were screaming babies in the dining room, we'd give them a Jacobsen Toast, and they'd shut up for an hour. It was awesome. And the parents were so grateful. And I mean, if you tried to
they'd usually buy a pack to take home,
you could not pry that Jacobsen Toast out of that baby's hand.
Because, the other thing with Scorpa is that, and my mom would make these ones that were kind of long. That's how she cut the bread. So it was kind of a long stick. And when babies were teething, it was they would sit and they would like gum on these things, and it would be.
Because parents would always go, "Oh, they're not eating it." I go, "Yeah, but you could just gum on them. They're like a biter biscuit."
Yeah, and they wouldn't be dangerous because they wouldn't really be.
You couldn't take a chunk off.
No, they would gum it, and it would be soft, and then they eat it.
Like
so
dissolved,
it was like babies loved that.
That's so funny. Well, then Jacobsen Toast ended up with raspberry, maple sugar, blueberry. But traditionally, cinnamon was the good one, and the family business went out of business.
Oh, no.
And we tried so hard to get them just to make it for us, because we sell so much of it that we could not find something to replace it.
Yeah.
And there was so much, I don't know what happened, but kids said that the family members didn't see eye to eye.
Yeah,
and they just decided to sell
it's
it.
Hard.
And they weren't interested in whatever. It just wasn't worth it.
But I got to tell you a funny story. When I go back and forth to Sweden, your dad would always pull me aside and say, can you pick up some wienerbröd?
Wienerbröd.
Yeah, because he loved Swedish.
And don't you get that in Copenhagen,
bread.
Like Danish? Isn't
well,
it
it's like
bread?
Danish, but so I'd have to, like, when I could not come home without a container of wienerbröd
and
for
listen,
your dad.
Anyone that was going to Sweden and came home, my dad was begging for that.
Yeah. But Dad would not even, and he would just go, he'd say thank you, he'd put it under his arm and walk right out to the office with it. It never even
he never shared with us. I know that, because that was his special treat.
Yeah. So that was...
Tell what wienerbröd is.
Wienerbröd, well, it is more of a Danish thing, which is why it's called Danish here. It's... where you do that flaky crust kind of, I'm presuming it comes from, the French culture seeping into the Danish, did their own thing and doing this. And in Sweden, you also serve it. It usually has like a fruit filling, like you see Danish here. But the Danish, I will say this, Danish here does not even compare to the Swedish Danish.
No.
However, the Danish don't compare to this. I mean, it's one step up from the Swedish. So if you go to Copenhagen, you got to go into a bakery and
Denmark is known for their Danish.
Yeah, you got to get, and you've never had anything nicer, flakier, and but it was always the issue. How can I get these 8 Danish to your dad as fresh as possible? So I actually had this bakery close to my mom, and they would know when I was home, and they'd be like, okay, can I come in the morning when I was traveling? We'd run in.
You had to get the fresh stuff.
Yes, and I would have the right variety, put it in a plastic box so they didn't come back because there's a lot of air in them. So I have to package it. But I remember it was at your dad's, what was it? What was his big birthday? They had a big thing at the restaurant.
Oh, you mean his 80th birthday?
Yes,
Yeah,
and
we
I
had a
did
surprise.
have
That's
a box.
funny because you know what? My dad, we had to
I must
tell
have
him
just
about
come back. Right, it's in October, right? Or when is-
December 9th.
Oh,
Because you know
December.
what?
I just been in Sweden
Okay,
in
well,
November.
Helen, you know this is a fact.
Yeah.
Whenever Dale would tell when his birthday was, well, my birthday is December 9th. Don't you know all good people are born in December? Al Johnson, Jesus Christ, and Heidi Gustafson. And if you don't know who Heidi Gustafson is, she's the ham girl of the North.
Yeah.
Heidi Ho Ho.
Yeah.
And that was one of our waitresses that my
Yeah.
dad absolutely loves,
Which is,
hand down.
she's related to Mike,
Yes.
my husband, too.
Yes,
Second
you guys
cousins.
are related
yes,
through marriage.
yes.
Yeah,
They, her,
And
let's
both
see,
the girls,
her,
Pam and Heidi,
yeah.
worked at Al's, but my dad would always say, December
Yep.
9th, Jesus Christ, Al Johnson, and Heidi Gustafson.
Oh,
Don't
that's
you know?
nice.
Thanks for watching Door County Girl. Don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you next time.